Hello class, today I'm going to walk you through the first individual assignment as part of your Great Essayist assignment. And as you can see, the first assignment is to outline one of the author's essays. You can choose any essay from your author's page at this website. And your outline must be written in complete sentences, and it must include paragraph and/or section headings, the type of hook used, the main idea or thesis statement, the topic of each paragraph or section, an outline of the supporting details in each paragraph or section, and a brief explanation of the information in the conclusion. And here I'm going to put the topic and main idea of each paragraph or section. Okay, so I've actually chosen an essay that is not from that website, but this is an essay called By Experiences, Not Things by James Hamblin. Okay, so to start, I'm going to write my name, I'm going to write the date, which I'll just go ahead and put the due date, so that is June 12th, okay, and whenever you write an academic essay, for some reason, we format the date this way. I don't know why. Okay, and then I will write my class. And then I'm going to write the assignment. Okay, so outline of By Experiences, Not Things by James Hamblin. Okay. Alright, and now you can make an outline on Word by clicking up here to create a numbered list. If you prefer, you can use letters. I kind of like using letters. So first I'm going to put introduction. Okay. And let's see. So the first thing that I need to include is the hook. Okay, and I'm not going to copy the hook. Instead, I'm going to write what kind of hook the author uses. Okay, so if I look at the first sentence, it says 47% of the time, the average mind is wandering. It wanders about a third of the time while a person is reading, talking with other people, or taking care of children. It wanders 10% of the time even during sex. Okay, so here we have a hook that is designed to get the reader's attention. And what kind of hook is this? Well, we have a lot of numbers, right? And these numbers are pretty high. And this especially is surprising. Okay? So I'm going to write hook. The author gets the reader's attention. I'm going to put through surprising facts and statistics. And then if you want to, you can put an example. For example, he says that our minds wander 47% of the time. Okay? Alright, so that's the hook. The next thing that I need to look for is the main idea or thesis statement. And I can either write it in my own words or quote it directly. Now, one thing that I want to warn you about is that sometimes the thesis statement or main idea may not be clearly stated. Okay, so let's see if it's clearly stated in this essay. And that wandering, according to psychologist Matthew Killingsworth, is not good for well-being. A mind belongs in one place. During his training at Harvard, Killingsworth compiled those numbers and built a scientific case for every cliché about living in the moment. In a 2010 science paper co-authored with psychology professor Daniel Gilbert, the two wrote that a wandering mind is an unhappy mind. Okay, So that's the first paragraph. But if I look at the title, it says buy experiences, not things. And so far, until now, I have not read any information about buying anything. So I don't think the main idea is in the first paragraph. Okay? One thing that's going to be a little bit interesting about this assignment is that these essays probably will not be 5 paragraphs long. You know, look at this essay. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then some dialogue, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 paragraphs long. So the thesis statement or main idea may not be in the first paragraph, okay? And here it says that you should include the topic and main idea of each paragraph or section. Okay, that's because in an essay with 15 paragraphs, there may only be 3 big main topics, but there might be 4 paragraphs about one topic. Okay, and we'll see that as we go along. Okay, so for Killingsworth, happiness is in the content of moment-to-moment experiences. Nothing material is intrinsically valuable except in whatever promise of happiness it carries. Satisfaction in owning a thing does not have to come during the moment it's acquired, of course. It can come as anticipation or nostalgic longing. Overall, though, the achievement of the human brain to contemplate events past and future at great tedious length has, these psychologists believe, come at the expense of happiness. Minds tend to wander to dark, not whimsical places, unless that mind has something exciting to anticipate or sweet to remember. Okay, so I'm going to keep reading. I'm not sure that I know the main idea or thesis yet. Over the past decade, an abundance of psychology research has shown that experiences bring people more happiness than do possessions. All right. So the title is By Experiences, Not Things. We have read about how the mind wanders and how we need to stay in the moment. We read that a wandering mind is an unhappy mind. And then we read about material possessions and whether or not they can bring happiness. And then I think that this is probably the closest thing to a thesis statement. Okay, but let's keep reading just to make sure. The idea that experiential purchases are more satisfying than material purchases has long been the domain of Cornell psychology professor Thomas Gilovich. Since 2003, he has been trying to figure out exactly how and why experiential purchases are so much better than material purchases. In the journal Psychological Science last month, Gilovich and Killingsworth, along with Cornell doctoral candidate Amit Kumar, expanded on the current understanding that spending money on experiences provides more enduring happiness. They look specifically at anticipation as a driver of that happiness, whether the benefit of spending money on an experience accrues before the purchase has been made in addition to after. And yes, it does. Essentially, when you can't live in a moment, they say, it's best to live in anticipation of an experience. Experiential purchases like trips, concerts, movies, etc. tend to trump material purchases because the utility of buying anything really starts accruing before you buy it. Waiting for an experience apparently elicits more happiness and excitement than waiting for a material good. Okay, so now we're getting information about when people become happy. I don't think that that's part of the introduction. Okay, so I'm going to say that this is probably the thesis statement. Okay, and I don't want it to be a different font size. So if you go right-click, merge formatting, there we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to put paragraph 3 so that I know where to find that information. Okay, so now I think that I am done with the introduction. Okay. Now I'm going to look at the body paragraphs. Okay, so for this, I personally like to make a separate category for the body of the essay. All right. So I'm going to read silently. Okay, so it looks like these two paragraphs are about anticipation, right? So essentially, when you can't live in a moment, they say it's best to live in anticipation of an experience. Okay? So experiential purchases like trips, concerts, movies, etc. tend to trump material purchases because the utility of buying anything really starts accruing before you buy it. Okay, so I'm going to say that section 1 is about anticipation. Okay, and I'm going to say that the main idea of this section is that anticipating an experience causes more happiness than anticipating a possession. Okay, or maybe anticipating the ownership of a possession. Okay, and then let's look for some supporting details. So let's see. Okay, so basically, the author compares and contrasts the feelings that one experiences when waiting for an experience, or waiting for, yeah, I'm just going to use experience. So, there we go. When waiting for an experience versus waiting for a possession. Okay, and then I could say he uses the examples of waiting for a nice restaurant or vacation and waiting for an iPhone. Okay, so those are the supporting details for that section. Alright, and then we have this paragraph which says that people are happier because they are less likely to measure the value of their experiences by comparing them to those of others. Okay, so section 2, I'm going to put comparing to others. And the main idea is that experiences lead to greater happiness because we don't compare them to others' experiences. Okay. And then let's see. Okay, so here there's basically just one big supporting detail. Okay, the author compares, or let's see. So the author gives the examples of having a higher salary and having more vacation time to show that people choose experiences without comparing them to others' experiences. Okay, so there's basically just one supporting detail there. This section is only one paragraph long. Let's look at the next one. Okay, so section 3 is interesting. They're associated with identity, connection, and social behavior. Okay, and here there's a really clearly stated topic and main idea. So I'm just going to copy this directly and put it right here. Oh, nope. So I'm going to put identity, connection, and social behavior. And whoops, I'm going to merge the formatting here and put it in quotation marks. I ruined it. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay, and then I would put that this is the main idea, and then I could put some information about supporting details. Okay, so I'm not going to do all of this essay for you because I think you probably have the idea, but then for the conclusion, you're just going to just briefly explain the information in the conclusion. Okay, so let's go down to the conclusion. All right. Okay. So what he talks about, so the author talks about the research that looks at experiences, and then he talks about some of the implications of the research. Okay, so that sort of benefit would likely be a lot stronger in an optimistic person as opposed to a pessimistic person. Some people hate surprises. Some people don't anticipate experiences because they dwell on what could, no, will, go wrong. But we needn't dwell in their heads. Everyone can decide on the right mix of material and experiential consumption to maximize their well-being. The broader implications, according to Gilovich in a press statement, are that well-being can be advanced by providing infrastructure that affords experiences, such as parks, trails, and beaches, as much as it does material consumption, or at least the promise of that infrastructure, so we can all look forward to using it. And when our minds wander, that's where we'll go. Okay, so this sentence is really interesting, but I want to start by just summarizing this information, Okay. So he talks about optimists and pessimists. Okay. So the benefits of anticipating an experience may depend on an individual person's outlook on life. Okay. We need to build infrastructure that helps us have positive experiences. Okay, so those are kind of the final thoughts. And then this is interesting, and when our minds wander, that's where they'll go. I think that's interesting because he started the essay by talking about the mind wandering. Okay, so in the last sentence, the author connects the conclusion to the introduction by mentioning the mind wandering. Okay, so that's what you're going to be doing for the outline. All right, you can read the essay before you start, or you can read the essay as you work. And then at the bottom, you can put your response. Okay, so in addition to the outline, you must write a paragraph in which you respond to the essay. Okay? So down here, you will write your response. Okay? And in the response, you can use the words I and me. All right? And do not summarize the essay. You already did that. Write if you think the essay is good. Okay, so for example, I could say, this essay is effective because the author connects the introduction and conclusion. In addition, the author provides a helpful graph. Okay, he uses quotations well, and so on. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.